welcome to Flocabulary. About to get the mixin'. And if your class is lacking, then we about to get the fixin'. Cause our engagement rate and stay going through the roof. And the kids all love our content, so we stayin' in the booth. People thinking it's just videos, but they don't know how deep it goes. Academic rigor keeping all your students on their toes. They call us a specialist, and yeah, you already know you in the mix with Bree and T. We just going with the flow.
Welcome, everyone.
Hey, you are back in the mix with Bree and T. If you haven't tuned in with us before, welcome. And if you're returning, we appreciate the support. Remember, we bring you all things hip-hop, all things education, and all things hip-hop in education. If you want a more in-depth look at who we are and what we do, be sure to check out our very first episode. And we have a very special guest in the studio. Bree, tell them who we got.
I don't even think I want to introduce him.
Oh.
I want him to introduce himself since
Okay,
he
now.
is in the mix with us. He says
Yes.
he's
so weird.
slow. He's got it together. So I'm gonna
Ooh.
let him tell us who he is
Oh,
in
all
a
right.
nice way.
All right.
Fine. It is I. They call me the big boy Amir. You may have heard me. These people, they fear what I got to say. My name starts with an A, and I live in an A. What I got to say? I'm out here doing it big like it's my B-day, but it's not. Flow so hot because I ain't brushed my teeth. Sight. I'm doing it big like I am a Christmas wreath. What's happening? We on this platform. Girl, you gotta watch my vocabulary form. I'm doing it real big. Yes, I got one kid. I'm out here doing it like that. I got an education straight like that. I did it real big and I did it up on you. And everybody know I went to Tallahassee. I slipped, did it at FAMU. And then I came and called my boy Merv and I said, Merv, what you trying to do? He said, I'm trying to do this podcast thing, man. We need you to be a guest on the show too. I said, cool. I'll be there. I even comb my hair. And then I said, I'll be there with TB and my adult band. Let's go.
All right.
All right.
right.
Okay. I feel a little flow. I see it. I see the
I
vision.
just have fun with my flow. I'm not
You
trying to
know.
get signed. I ain't trying to be Jay-Z. I just like I just have fun. I call it it's that kind of that dumb freestyle. You just say whatever come to mind and have fun.
Well, that is why we go with the flow here
Absolutely.
at our mix, at our podcast that we have. But we brought the energy this morning and you shared a little bit about who you are. But I want you to really get into your background. Who is Amir Windom? Let them know what all do you bring into this entertainment world.
I always think it's so weird when I have to like talk about myself. It's like the weirdest moment of my life. Like, me, I am a but I've been blessed to have a very extensive career in the entertainment business. I started when I was 18. I started working at Bad Boy for Mr. Take That, P. Diddy, and Chris Sansbury. And then I met what I like to call my industry game changer, being Kevin Lyles, who's currently has a company called 300 Entertainment. He was the executive vice president of Warner Music Group, and more notably, he went from intern to president at Def Jam Records. Became the president at 29. Met him through a good friend of mine, Deidre Graham, and ended up working at Def Jam. And then he brought me over to the Atlantic world, and there really just started my entertainment career, like in totality, where I've been able to be an A&R executive, and I've been able to work on projects that have won many Grammys and a lot of platinum albums. And
Go ahead and name
yeah,
them.
there's people like Bruno Mars that I've been able to.
Okay.
Yep. And so we've been blessed. He brings out I'd say the utmost creativity in me. But I've been able to work with Kanye West, Lupe Fiasco, Wiz Khalifa, Madonna, Maroon 5, Pharrell Williams. And yeah, because of that, I also ended up getting when I won many Grammys, and I'm gonna show y'all a little something. This is probably one of our most proud projects here. Can I flip this around? Let's see. No, I don't know, but I'm just gonna do this. So this is my for a song I helped write called "Happy" with Pharrell Williams.
Wow.
So this is
Mhm.
our commemorative plaque. But I've been able to do a lot of cool stuff, working film and TV, even producing movies, music supervising shows like Law and Order. Um, yeah, I've been blessed, man. But the coolest thing is I've used all my success to improve the quality of life.
Mm-hmm.
And one particular place to do that is in the education world. So I'm currently like an executive in residence at three universities, and also I'm very tied into the school system here in Atlanta and LA and with the UNCF and with all these corporate companies. So again, the entertainment work that I do and all the things that I accomplish is so that I can add value um, in particular silos like the education world.
Yeah. So
Wow.
when we think about, I mean, that is a resume for you, and he said that in the most like nonchalant,
Yeah, he was
but
just like name drop. Oh yeah,
That's
just
why
Bruno Mars, just
I don't like
Madonna.
introducing
No,
myself.
no big deal. No biggie.
I mean,
but
because I'm just doing what God called me to do. So I mean, I'm very thankful and appreciative. But again, it's just like how you guys approach it. I'm thankful and excited. Don't get me
yeah.
wrong, but it's just I don't do it for those moments.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that's
No,
fine.
I mean, again, it's a resume that truly just resonates with your work and
Mm-hmm.
why you do it. And now you did talk a little bit about the education portion. How do you think hip hop like has been connected to education now? Why is that so important? Like, what do you think that means for us as a generation moving forward?
I mean, first of all, let me just say this. I remember one of your colleagues, Merv, talking to me about Flocabulary. And if anybody knows Merv, he's a hip hop.
Head.
Yes, that is
He is the
his.
Yeah.
face of hip hop. He's beyond just a hip hop head. But it, there's a responsibility that the entertainment biz has to have.
Mm-hmm.
To me, if we're the most influential of you know the world, really, as far as especially we're talking about younger kids and teenagers and even young
Absolutely.
adults. It's our job to make sure that we're improving their quality of life beyond just entertaining them. So
Mm-hmm.
hip hop, as long as I can remember, and again, I started working in the entertainment business early at 18, and I grew up in a family that worked in music. Hip hop was created, kind of from the perspective to reach, I'd say, teenagers and young adults when it first was on. So I mean, no, it wasn't like think about it in the 80s, 70s, 80s era, like Motown and that music was kind of the predominant genre, if you will, for
Mm-hmm.
African Americans. And so it was like it wasn't really anything for younger people to do besides just sing and dance. And I think some people obviously were like, man, that's kind of whack, man. I ain't trying to sing no more. And so, hip hop was created to kind of answer just a different energy, a more youthful energy. And so hip hop to me, because it was created to particularly connect with a younger audience, I think it's also our responsibility to make sure that we're connecting with a younger audience in a meaningful way as well. Um, so yeah, I think hip hop is as influential as it is. It has to be just as impactful,
Hmm.
Absolutely.
and that's why today's music sometimes is tough. And I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'm one of the guys who you know I, if you don't have a God given talent, if you can't, you know, if you're not the top of your class as it relates to your talent level, I'm not really the A&R for you because I know there's a responsibility, and if we're being honest, some of our hip hop music is very toxic and destructive. It undermines everything that educators are trying to do in the classroom, and it's not to say that this music needs to go away, but I think what's happening now in our business and my business that I'm really loudly I speak on is there's just no
Mm-hmm.
balance. There's not enough meaningful, impactful, soulful, healthy hip hop that is literally something that these teachers can use as a tool Um, and I think it is hurting the education system to a certain extent. So that's why companies like Flocabulary are thoroughly important. That's why I, you know, currently am trying to figure out how I can help Flocabulary on a greater and more consistent level, because again, you guys are kind of the balance that I'm speaking of that has to happen, for the essence of what hip hop was created for to still live.
Deep. I think what you said that resonated with it was a
Was that
little bit.
deep?
You know, we kind of a little bit,
Okay.
a little bit, a
Yeah.
little
Well,
bit.
so you just
But
yeah.
I
Okay.
think as a former classroom teacher, even me and Bree, we had an assignment we were trying to do for a webinar, and we were trying to find a song for students to analyze that was appropriate. The message was appropriate, and there was still a lot of meaning behind it, right? And like you said, the balance is so thrown off that the music that our students currently listen to, it doesn't have that balance. There is no, oh, this is school appropriate, and it's also something that the kids want to rap along to and dance to and stuff like that. You know, I think I did a survey once of my students, and I hadn't even heard of 75% of the artists that they were saying little everybody, and I was like, y'all, I don't
Mm-hmm.
and I'm younger, so I'm like thinking, yeah, we're gonna be on like the same wavelength, but there's just this big disconnect, I feel like, between how hip-hop started and was created and the purpose, like you were saying, and kind of the direction that it's kind of going in right now.
Yeah. And I kind of want to like come off of education for a little bit and talk about the power of music, right? So the power of music, I know Amir, you also are in the space of film, right? So how does that translate? Music in the film industry and how you got there specifically.
Yeah. So music is again. I think if you want to see the power of how music touches the soul and connects to your feelings, it's always shown in movies and TV shows. If you can imagine, as a music supervisor, I get the movie and the TV shows blank. Like the only thing I have is audio. I have the vocal recordings and just what they recorded on set. There's no music to it whatsoever. And so you get to see like how important music is, because it's literally nothing. Like if they released this movie, you would have just dialogue and whatever natural sounds that they recorded when they were shooting. But it's when approaching the film and the TV shows, you just literally have to think about sounds. Like that's kind of where I start typically. Is I say to myself, okay, if there's a scene here, and there's an emotional moment, like what are some of the key sounds that I know will bring that out? So if it's a high energy emotional moment, typically cymbals are typically a place to go, right? Um, loud cacks of the snare drum, cat cat. I mean, even if we're talking about the piano keys, I mean, there's you have to find these think about these instruments that evoke emotions, and then depending on the energy level, you kind of move in that direction. But again, it's a testament again to the power of music, because without these musical moments or these musical notes, this scene would not match. No matter how
Yeah.
great the acting is, this scene would not. You wouldn't feel the scene as much. And so essentially, the music is our feelings. That's what connects directly to our soul. And just think about when you're listening to a song and you hear some notes, or you're listening to it, you just feel a sense of emotions. I think they did a study a while ago, and they were just saying that essentially in the flesh form, like if you want to know how your nerves and things work in your body, like music is
Mm-hmm.
kind of that.
Wow.
And so I think from a film and TV standpoint, that's why I love being a music supervisor, because it's kind of like you're a DJ. You get to control the crowd, and so I get to kind of control the emotions. And if I really want to mess people up, I can just really go there. Or it's like if I want to
Yeah.
be subtle and make you think that something about to happen, and then you know make you think somebody's about to bust out that door.
Yeah.
I'm kind of in control of
Mm-hmm.
how you feel. So again, it's just a testament to the power of music and how it connects nervous system and our
And I
feelings.
think it really speaks to why Flocabulary connects hip hop to education, right? Because it is that connection for our students. It is something that they can relate to. It is something that they feel as if, you know what, I listen to it on Instagram and TikTok, and I have my favorite artists and I hear it all around. So when I'm able to amplify my voice through music and explain what you're trying to teach me, it's the power of vocabulary. We give them that opportunity, especially with our lyric lab component, where they can actually write their own rhyme. So they're writing their own hip hop verse to the vocabulary
Dope,
terms that
Yeah,
we give them. So it's truly
dope.
that place for them to be able to be creative, show the connection, and really have that passion behind it.
absolutely. And be
That's
authentic.
dope.
Hmm.
I think we spend so much of our time trying to tell our students, use the academic language and talk like this. And when you're presenting, do this and do this. But vocabulary and hip hop and everything like that really gives them this space where it's like, no, use your voice. You can use vocabulary and use your slang at the same time as long as it all comes together in the end, like I think one of my colleagues in my program said that she tells her students that they're bilingual a lot of the time. You have that academic language and you're able to stand up in front of a crowd and articulate your thoughts well, but then you also are able to speak AAVE and you know what you're saying and you know what your friends are saying and your family, and everybody can't do that. So I think empowering them through that voice is super important, that connection, like you were saying.
Dope. What's your? I know I'm about to take over like
Go
this.
ahead,
My
any
podcast.
questions?
Give me your
Oh
hip
my
hop
See, that
artist.
was
goodness.
my question for you. That's my question.
I
I
saw
was
it on your
like,
face, so I said let me
okay.
take it.
It's funny because Merv actually asked me this in my interview. This is one of the questions he asked. He was like, I wasn't going to judge you on it, but I feel like he definitely did. So definitely Jay Z. My dad, he played Jay Z all my life. He said he used to play ball with him. He used to come down to the shore. It's one of those things where everybody knows everybody. Yeah, no, we used to run together. Da, 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 da. So definitely Jay Z. I feel like Lil Kim. I mean, we don't got
Little
we don't got
Kim,
to
that's
talk
a
about it right now on this teacher education friendly
man. She,
podcast.
I heard. You know what, Lil Kim. I heard the most. The like. I remember I was dating this chick, and we went to we went to this like it was an artist
Mm-hmm.
showcase. That's what it was. And they was letting people get up there and recite their favorite hip hop lyrics. And I remember she got up there and did this Lil Kim verse.
Oh my
And
god!
at this moment, I knew she was not a godly woman.
Don't do that.
It was like Lil Kim. I had never heard a female rapper talk like that. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh,
I mean, it gets
she
real,
is
but I feel
different.
like she
That's that New
pioneered
York
it
stuff. You know
though.
what I
You know what
mean?
I'm
Y'all keep it
saying? Like
raw.
she pioneered it. Like
She
all the
did.
female rappers and stuff.
She paved the way for
Absolutely,
Cardi B,
absolutely.
Meg.
Nicki,
She
all of
paved the
All of
them.
way.
them, all of them.
I agree. What
Oh, are
about
we
you?
saying honestly? I really love Cole. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say top three. I would just say just one. Cole, truly, I think when we think about education in hip hop, J. Cole can he just teaches you so much. Of course, we could say Jay Z, but J. Cole is like to me the younger Jay Z because through his lyrics you're getting a lesson. Through his songs you're getting just
Hmm.
advice on life. So I love Cole.
Absolutely.
I love
I think
Cole.
he's who I
Yeah.
use the most in my classroom because I can always find at least one like clean verse in the song where I'm like, okay, we can use this whole 16. So I
So since
definitely
Amir
like
thinks
it.
he's over the podcast,
Right. Who's your favorite?
who's your fave?
I'm gonna go with Lil
Not yet.
Yachty.
Oh
I'm
my
joking.
god! I was about to say I
Look,
know you
audio
telling me.
only because my face just did. Okay.
Come on, what's wrong
There's
with
nothing
Lil
wrong with
Yachty?
Yachty, but
I don't think I could. I
I
don't
was
think
about to
I
say I
know
don't
I'm
Lil
think
about to
I
say
Yachty
could
me
song.
name
neither.
one if you paid me to.
That mean we get no. But my favorite hip hop artist. I'm just gonna name one that I admire. Uh, just because in a time when like he was kind of a difference. It's two people I'll bring up because I kind of was well, I was a part of the career of one. But so Lupe Fiasco, I was a part of Team Assignment Atlantic and worked on all his early albums, and I just always admired him because I felt like as the music was starting to shift more towards
Mm-hmm.
where it is now, he was making Kick Push, and he was just making songs that were still very to the core of hip hop, and more importantly, he was still finding a cool way to talk about things that again that were value adding to the mind and soul. So he's always been one of my favorite artists when it comes to like lyrical creativity and just someone that you want to get some uplifting or just hear some dope storytelling. Um, he's one, and then I always respect Kendrick
Mm,
Lamar
who's next on my
because
list?
yeah, I don't know anybody that I don't know. I think lyrically he's the one that will he's the daddy when it comes to lyricism nowadays, and yeah, he's just such a guy and a talent. He's just such a it's one thing to be a poet, but it's another to be able to articulate your thoughts outwardly in a way that is rhythmic and it's just cool. He does so in such a way that it's like it goes over all our heads. He's a dude that you literally gotta go
Mm-hmm.
look up
Yeah,
his lyrics. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the '80s and the '90s. Like I used to have to go look up lyrics to try to learn them or just
Yeah.
see what they said. I have to look up his lyrics to kind of study. Like it's like literally reading a book
Hmm.
of a poet. I remember back in the day I used to read stuff and I just wouldn't get some things like and it was because of just not knowing and being young and but with him it's just it's literally like being in poetry class or being in history class or he'll say some words that you ain't
Mm-hmm.
never
yeah,
heard before and it's just like bro how do you retain because a lot of it is just he retains information so well like he'll read something and he retains it he'll go somewhere and
hmm
he'll retain it and then he's able to articulate what he retained or what he experienced in a way that's just you know only God hasn't blessed many of us to do it
yeah.
Absolutely.
that way.
No,
Respect.
I love Kendrick.
Yeah.
Kendrick definitely is one of those too, that I would put on my list for sure.
I do
I'm
have
still getting.
I have
Go ahead.
another
Sis.
question. Yeah. So I think what I noticed a lot as a teacher is that I had a lot of students who wanted to be music artists, right? Or they wanted to
Hmm.
do something in music. And I felt myself always kind of pulled in two different directions on it because, of course, I want you to have dreams and passions. And if this is what you want to do, then I want to like push you towards it. But then, of course, the college and career readiness standards. And okay, well, also,
Hmm.
it's like you don't want to tell kids, oh, you gotta have a backup plan because in case this music thing don't take off for you, you know what I mean? But like as an educator, you
Right.
understand the significance that you have in these children's lives. How many rappers have you heard say that their teachers told them they wasn't never gonna be nothing when they grew up and they coming back to the
Right.
city to stun on them because you told me, you know what I mean? I don't want to end up in nobody's rap song telling them, yeah, Miss Manson said I had to read this book, but I went and wrote my
Right.
hook. Like, no, I don't want to be in it. So I'm like,
Yep.
how do you
Yeah.
think we kind of cultivate their passions and their talents while keeping them, I don't want to say realistic, but like on a path that they can actually obtain like the dream that they have.
Yeah. It's similar to you. As an A&R, I mean, I get people who want to sit down with me every day, and like somebody grandma want to. My grandbaby raps. I would love to. From I mean, I get it's just nonstop, and well, I'm not the guy that tells people like you suck. You'll never make it either. Because I'm the same with you. I don't want to be. Amir turned me down. Now I'm shooting on him. You know what I'm saying? I don't want that either. So I've never told anybody that they suck. I'm definitely critical in the sense of saying, you can work on this and that, but I'll never tell anybody they can't make it. They need to quit. But what I do is this: I remind students, and again, I talk to a lot of students, college, high school, and of course, when I come, everybody wants to sit down, wants to talk to me because most of these, I guess, it's kind of like in the, I think like the maybe the '60s and '70s. I'm an '80s baby, but I think like it became for Black people, it was like the 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 level up was becoming a
Mm-hmm.
doctor or a lawyer, right? But now, in the 21st century, the level up is becoming an
Mm-hmm.
entertainer. And so a lot of these, our their role models are entertainers, and so it's like, all right, cool. I can't tell you not to be one. I mean, people make a lot of money. You know, you live a good life. But just as same with me, like yeah, I've been an executive. I won many Grammys, but I'm also a film producer. You know, I'm also a music supervisor. I'm also a college professor. I'm also a owner of a media, you know, a media company. I throw festivals. I also um, I also DJ sometimes, right? I also it's just a variety of stuff, right? Like I literally do a lot of different things, and so I say that to these students to say you have to treat your talents like they're your kids, and that means that just as you have kids, you have to raise your kids, you have to love them, you have to feed them, you have to, and you can't pick one though. Like you can't just pick that one, like your 3 year old and say, all right, 1 year old, I'll deal with you next week. Come on, 3 year old, you got to do it all at the same time. And so to me, I tell these kids, you can look at me, you can look at Jay Z, you can look at Drake or whoever, Lil Baby, Lil Uzi Vert, and these guys are multifaceted. And so it's like while you and you don't know how you're gonna get there because for me, I know I was gonna be, you know, making movies and the owner of the first ever 24-hour news network and you know getting called to speak and doing all this stuff. Like I didn't know that. I just thought, oh, I want to work in music, but at the same time, I will say I was very flexible about how I got there, and I knew that I needed to do a lot. I knew I needed to kind of diversify how I was going to get there and how and add different roads to my road because it's like I
Right.
don't know how I'm gonna get there. You know it, and you know to me sometimes when it comes to like believing in yourself, is believing in yourself is giving yourself different opportunities to believe in yourself. And when I say that, it's just not staying on that one road. And so for me, again, I had to go so many different ways to get there. And I think that's what I tell these kids. So it's treat your talents like your kids. Like do a lot of different things because you don't know how those different things are going to all meet in the middle and be and help you level up and get to where you really ultimately want to be. But when you get there though, I mean it's just like no one wants to wear the same clothes every day, no one wants to eat the same food, so it's like hopefully you develop a variety of talents so that you won't just have to just solely do music all day. Because as a music exec, I don't want to listen to music all day. I don't want to write no songs. I don't want to produce. I don't want to do none of that stuff all day. So the other things that I do give me kind of a break, and it keeps my love refreshed for these things. Because if it's just like a parent. Like if you got kids and you with your kids all day, every day, you're gonna want a break. You know what I'm saying? I don't care how much you love them, you're gonna
Yeah.
need that break. So point is, it's the same thing with our talents. Like you need break from your talent. You need to be able to step away from it so that you can keep the passion and the love for it because you absolutely can drain yourself from it, and it becomes that it's just like these people who play sports and they just have to do it all year round, and they just eventually like, yeah, I don't want to do this no more. They lose
Mm-hmm.
their love for it. So to me, I just think while students, especially these students now, it's just like, hey, yeah, do music, do it, but at the same time, like there's a lot of other things inside you that
Mm-hmm.
you could do too. So like your challenge becomes how do you cultivate yourself to just kind of have your hands and feet and head and arms in different places so that you can make sure at the end of the day that you've literally manifested yourself in a way that you've kind of become all that you can be. Some of these things are going to be great. Some of the things might be mediocre, but at least you tried and you manifested and cultivated your talents as if they were your kids. Because, I'm sure a lot of your students probably have siblings or cousins, and they see their parents or their loved ones juggling to a certain extent. They're juggling work, they're juggling their kids, their own personal lives. But I think you kind of got to treat your talents the same way. You got to cultivate them by, hey, if I like sports, I'm gonna play sports. If I like music, I'm gonna do music too. If I like watching, I like watching TV to understand how TV shows and movies. Watch TV, you know what I'm saying? Study them. You just gotta cultivate your talents in a variety of ways. So that's what I tell a lot of the students.
Absolutely. I love
I
that.
think that speaks to teachers and I mean, like educators and students, for us to
Absolutely.
be able to figure out how do we
Hmm.
talk to our students and not only that, support them in their dreams. And again,
Yeah.
for those artists, those future artists, those teachers who feel like, I don't know how to connect, I don't know where to bring it to my students. Honestly, just being there, being their support, giving them different avenues. So, Amir, you gave us a lot today.
Yes,
I appreciate it.
absolutely.
Literally love the energy.
Thank you.
Always love the energy. So, before we close out, I want to know what's next. What's to come?
What's next? If I could answer that question, I would have known that I was gonna become, a now 7-time Grammy Award
You heard
winning record
seven. You had to
executive.
put seven in there. That's what
I did. I want
I'm
another
talking. That's
one
what
this
I'm
year
Seven of
with
them
talking.
Bruno.
things.
But my point is, I just, the next part is I don't know, because again, if I look at my career, I could not have told you none of that stuff. But one thing I know for sure is that I will be productive. I will improve the quality of life of people around me, and I will spread joy. And sometimes I think that starts what's next. It's just making sure that your soul
Hmm.
is right. Making sure that you internally are right. You know what I'm saying? It's like we focusing so much on work, and work becomes a distraction. So when people ask me, I'm just like, I'm gonna make sure my soul is right, and I know if I got that in the right place, everything will fall in place because it has so far, and it's been good. So
Good
that's
answer.
what's next. Just to keep being a
I
dope human
love
being.
that. That
Respect.
deserves a couple
Yes,
snaps.
love it.
You usually you get that
Thank you
list
Right,
of,
too.
okay, I
right.
got this project, I
Yeah,
got
we got
this
this. We
project.
coming up. Boom, boom.
Right.
Nah,
He
That's
turned that
dope.
on us, and I love
Yeah,
it.
I
nah.
love that.
Truly. Thank
Absolutely.
you. So, Amir, so
No, I
much for being
appreciate
here
y'all.
Yes.
today, and we look forward to seeing you another Grammy in your pocket, another title to add to your resume.
I'm gonna have to start
We
looking at the credits on
Gracias.
things and be like, I know him. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. But y'all keep doing what y'all doing. This is dope, and I mean, let me know if I well, not let me know. I will add. I'm one of the people that just don't. I'll pray for Let me pray for you guys. But no, I will add some value to you guys and send some other cool-minded people your way, and even on the programming side. And y'all keep doing what y'all do, because again, y'all are the day-to-day game changers and life changers. I'd like to call myself one too, but you guys on the ground improving the quality of life for these students that become us, the me's and the you's. And y'all are to be commended for that, for making that commitment, even though y'all are getting paid for it, which is a good thing. You're making a difference and getting paid. But at the same time, I commend you guys for your commitment to our education. I mean, the education of our youth, and more importantly, just making them dope human beings
Yeah,
too.
thank you so much. So
Absolutely.
y'all make sure to keep
Thank
going with the
y'all.
flow. It is T and Bree. It's Amir Windom. We are signing out for another great
Indeed.
episode.
All right. Be easy.